Hi everyone. Today's Sunday, February 13th, 2022. Welcome to P-Bolic Notes. My name is Michael Kirkjian. This week is Valentine's week for all, so happy Valentine's Day to all. Today I'd like to share with you some of the tokens I'm looking at that are going to be in the gaming community. 2022 2021 last year was a great year for the gaming and the NFT space, and obviously the NFT space is still very booming. And the tokens that are basically have to do with NFTs, as far as Solana, Cardano, Ethereum, are very interesting because all these projects are running NFTs on them, and obviously they're very important to pay attention to. The other part of the tokens is the gaming space. And the gaming space last year with the Sandbox, the Decentraland, Gala, obviously, those tokens saw some tremendous spikes, and those who had invested in those tokens made a lot of money. And it was very interesting that the way, obviously, it's been kind of it has been oscillating upwards and downwards. It hasn't really been very steady because now it's very volatile. A lot of the tokens went up and down quite a bit, specifically Gala Games, Sandbox, Decentraland. These are all great tokens, great products, but very volatile. What I use to take a look at the space is I use CoinGecko. CoinGecko has every single token pretty much that that you like to look at. And I would like to show you 4 of these tokens that I was looking at today, and I found one that I think I may be paying close attention next couple of days to see if it's one that's worth buying. So I'd like to please, before I get started, just to make sure that you all understand that this is not financial planning. I'm not a financial advisor, so everything I'm sharing with you here is what I'm doing personally. Before you take any action in this space, do your own research. Let me share with you my computer screen that you see exactly what I'm looking at right away. So if I put on my screen CoinGecko, if you go to CoinGecko's categories, and if you go to the GameFi space, it shows every single token that's in the gaming category. So obviously from there, you can figure out which one's the highest one as far as market cap is concerned. Like, for example, Sandbox #1, Axiom Fate is #2, Gala, Engine, and so forth. And then see if do some research on some of the ones that you think would be worth looking at. So the one that I'm looking at right now is there's a couple I looked at today, and the first one that I'd like to show you the 3 that I looked at to see if they're worth buying technical analysis wise, and 3 of them were no for me, and I will share with you why. The first one was Sandbox. So if I look at Sandbox, what the chart that gave me an indication that Sandbox wasn't going to be a great purchase was by me looking at its US dollar chart as far as Sandbox was concerned for the weekly chart. So it looked like it was kind of, you know, obviously if you look at what it did weekly, so last year it had this parabolic jump as it went from October to sometime in November. During this really 30-day period, it looks like it went up from 72 cents all the way up to $6.50. So that's a 600-700 times actually, well 6-7 times increase over a 30-day period. So that would have been a phenomenal investment for somebody. Myself, I own some Sandbox tokens, not too much, but just a little bit, and in my portfolio. But if I look at what it's doing weekly, it looks like since November, it's kind of been going on a negative trend. So if I look at this trend for what Sandbox is doing, it does look like it's having a great run for now. And then before doing anything, I want to compare Sandbox to Ethereum. Just want to see if versus Ethereum, if it was having a better period or what it was doing versus Ethereum. So it looks like since November, Sandbox was kind of just oscillating versus Ethereum. So obviously this phase here, October, November, it had this massive spike. Then it's been oscillating. If that's the case, I don't need to do anything with the Sandbox, because if I'm going to be investing in the space, if it's doing similar action as Ethereum is, then I'd rather just invest in Ethereum, which I already have investments in Ethereum. The second token that I looked at, which I skipped as well, was Engine token. So Engine is an excellent token. It's an excellent product in the gaming space. And as far as the weekly chart was concerned, for Engine, I mean, if I looked at some of the other indicators, as far as the main indicator, which is the one for the actual weekly chart, it looked like it was kind of oscillating in price. I mean, really, if I go back to, let's say, April of last year, it's kind of been hovering and staying in this corridor. So basically, it's gone from $2.84 on the high down to something around $1.05. So if I look at this, let's say on a daily chart, and if I just put the Bollinger Bands, that way, if I want to compare and see what it's doing as far as how it's kind of behaving with the standard deviation. So we see that it's kind of been really like staying in this. I mean, if you look at from the midpoint of where the pricing is, so it looks like right now it's kind of where it's supposed to be, somewhere in the middle with the standard deviation. So that being said, the next chart I looked at for Engine was compared again to Ethereum. Want to see if, okay, well, if Engine is kind of like, is it doing anything that's special that versus Ethereum? Again, very similar to what we saw with the Sandbox. It had this massive parabolic jump from January to March of last year, but since then versus Ethereum, it hasn't done that great. I mean, really, if you look at what it's done since last year, so it looks like it had this massive drop versus Ethereum, and then it continued, and all of a sudden right now it looks to be sort of, let's say, in this range. So it's not, I don't see anything going on here with versus Ethereum. It's oscillating. If that's the case, then I'd rather still look at I'd rather look at really Ethereum versus Engine coin. And if I look at Engine as well on the weekly chart, want to see if anything going on as far as other indicators, if there's anything that we should be paying attention to. So MACD, stochastics don't really give me much on the weekly chart. And if I go on the daily chart, again, MA5, which is the money flow index, which behaves a bit like the RSI, doesn't give me much. And as far as stochastics, doesn't really give me much neither. I would just remove this Bollinger Band so that it's easier for us to see. So this one, to me, the clincher was this one against Ethereum. If it's just oscillating, then forget it. I don't have to look at this. Another token that I looked at was Ultra. So Ultra is one of those. It's again a gaming token, and its market cap is very small. It's ranked number 218. So if you look at this token, it's one of those interesting. It's interesting because then it would be almost like a small price, small market cap. I mean, if we look at what it's at as far as its market cap is concerned, it's going to be something in the range of $274 million, which is considered small in this space. And with a total supply of 1 billion tokens, $1 of its value. So it's one of those where if it does look parabolic, somebody can make a great return with this. But if I look at what it's doing as far as Ultra is concerned with its pricing, it wasn't anything that was very special. So I'll show you what I'm talking about. Ultra on a daily chart, it's kind of really like it's as far as the stochastics is concerned, it looks like it's something that we could pay attention maybe over the next couple of days, if it does anything that would be worthwhile. Nothing really on the money flow. It's not really. I mean, obviously it's on the higher end. So, but it's not really at the 80 or the 20. So it's kind of. It looks like it's it may be going down as far as money flow is concerned, but it's not really giving me much of an indication to tell me much about it. The daily chart does not look that great. I mean, really, if I look at the daily chart, I don't see anything that's telling me much. Really, I mean, it's as far as the crosses, there's not much going on, and as far as the actual trend, I would say it looks more like a, I mean, there's different ways of seeing it, really. I mean, somebody could say that it's looking like as if it's like a negative trend since November, or somebody can say, well, if you look at this, how it's behaving over the long run, it's been very good, because it's all of a sudden, like, maybe it's kind of forming a triangle formation. So if you look at make a trend line this way, somebody could say that's maybe making triangle formation that should be paid attention to. But to me, it was not these indicators that really got my attention. It was more, again, the Ultra token versus Ethereum, or actually, it doesn't exist versus Ethereum, so I compared it to Bitcoin. So if I look at Ultra versus Bitcoin, so it's one of those things on a weekly chart. It looks interesting, but it's not. It definitely looks versus Bitcoin that it's done better against Bitcoin, which kind of is good to see. That means that it's not bidding against Bitcoin, and it's doing okay versus Bitcoin. But if I this is on a weekly chart, but if I look at since November, it's kind of been oscillating, and it's been a bit bearish. So what that means is that if I look at this, I say, well, if I'm not seeing anything happening over here as far as a weekly chart, really nothing really going on with the daily chart, except this triangle formation that I would probably pay attention to see if it breaks and which way it breaks. And then if I compare it to versus Bitcoin, it's kind of been, let's say, bearish since November. This is one of those where, for the time being, I'll probably skip it, but I'll pay attention to it specifically to this formation over here. But for now, I will skip it. Now, I'll just share with you the one that I'm looking at closely. It's going to be the one which is Illuvium. ILV is a token. If you look at it high level, what is the market cap and so forth? Illuvium's market cap is, again, it's number 171. It's a smaller token. And this one is at circulating supply is 642,000 tokens, max supply of 10 million, price today of $626. And it looks like if I look at what's the market cap at, it's at $402 million. So again, it's a small token, not a big market cap and so forth. But if I look at Illuvium as far as what it's doing on the daily chart, so I did the graphs or the charts versus Tether, because it doesn't seem to have USD charts. So over here on the daily chart, it didn't look like as if it was doing much. So basically, it looks like it had this very nice run going upwards until December, and then it got up to something like $2,000 a token price. And since that, it's kind of really trended downwards. Where the point it's at now today, at the price range of $600, this is the exact same price that he had last October. So basically, right now it's kind of lost a lot of its gains. As far as the MFI and stochastics are concerned for the daily chart, I don't really see much there. But what got my attention for Illuvium was the weekly chart, and I will show you what I mean. On the weekly chart, I saw a very nice hammer formation right over here. So basically, to me, this indicates that maybe this is going to be a reversal of this bearish trend. So meaning that since it had this very nice run upwards, and now all of a sudden, let's bring the chart over here. So since it had this very nice run upwards last year, and it got from September until November, Illuvium went from $400 a token price up to $1,600. So that was a 400% increase, which is a phenomenal return for a small token. And then if I compare to what it did afterwards, it looks like it went back down from this $1,600 price range all the way down to, I mean, the wick here, it was down to $480, but then it looks like it kind of had this support at this range of around $570. So that was when the hammer happened, and now it looks like we may be in a reversal. So myself, I'll pay attention to what it does over the next couple of days. to see how it closes, let's say this week and or next week. And if I like the way it's closing, if I can and if I can pay attention to any of the other indicators that not something's going on that may be making it that this hammer formation was really a good indicator, then I'll probably investing some funds into Illuvium. So let's pay attention to this and let's see how it closes this week and maybe also next week. Thanks so much for sharing, and look forward to talk later this week. Thank you.